Hello YouTube, welcome back to my channel. Hi guys, so welcome back to my channel and welcome to my very first do-it-yourself video. Today I'll be going over how to make a rustic looking dog bed. I just want you guys to keep in mind that my boyfriend and I built this bed a couple weeks ago. And we built it for our soon-to-be chocolate lab. So it is made for a medium-sized dog, but the structure and technique of how you build it and put it together can be made for smaller or larger dogs. You just have to cut the wood to either smaller or larger pieces. You can also finish it however way you want, but I will show you and tell you what I use to finish the dog bed. So that's really all I have to say right now, so let's get into it. Alright, so step one, what you need. Everything I needed to make this dog bed I bought from Home Depot. So you'll need 8 pieces of 3x1x6 wood of any species, 1 piece of 2x1x6 wood, a stain of your choosing of any brand, and a box of 6x1 5/8 black screws. Moving on to step 2, this is where you're cutting the pieces of wood. So this is where you need to keep in mind if you have a smaller dog or a larger dog, you might need to cut bigger or small pieces. But for what I used, you're going to need 4 40-inch pieces of wood cut on the 3x1x6 wood that you bought. Then you'll need 10 pieces 30 inches long, again cut on the 3x1x6 piece of wood. Then you'll need 5 6-inch pieces of wood cut on the 2x1x6 posts. Step 3, distressing the wood. So the goal of this step is to make your wood look old and used and that there's a bit of age on it. This is what really gives that rustic feel to the dog bed. You just need to keep in mind you should probably wear goggles and gloves and everything to protect yourself when doing these steps. So the first thing I did was I took a scrap block of wood and I put a bunch of nails through it so that they were poking out on the other side, and I actually scratched each side of the wood, giving it some lines. The second step I did was I grabbed any tool around, so I used like a screwdriver, a hammer, and I banged on each side of the wood to give it dings and gashes and dents. The last step I did was I used an electric sander or a grinder to soften out the edges so that they weren't so square, and I also dragged it across the top of some of the wood to give it a unique pattern. Now to finish off distressing your wood, I hand sanded each piece of wood to make sure that there weren't any loose or rough pieces sticking out so that it would be a nice even surface to stain. Step 4, staining. This is the most time-consuming part. You need to stain each and every side of each piece of wood. This took me about 3 days to do, and you can do as many coats of stain as you want until you're satisfied with the color. Now, the color I used was the Bare Premium Transparent Weatherproofing All-in-One Wood Finish in a 916 milliliter can. The color I used was T129 Chocolate. Now this stain said it took approximately 2 hours to dry, so what I did was I stained 3 sides, let it dry, flipped it over, did the last side, and then I waited 24 hours and I repeated the steps. And I did, like I said, 3 coats, so it took me 3 days to do. Step 5, construction. So first you want to start with the base. You want to take 2 40-inch pieces and 2 30-inch pieces. The 40 inches will be parallel from each other and the 30 inches will be parallel from each other, and you screw them into a square. Now I used 2 screws on each corner for extra stability. So next you're going to take the 40-inch piece that you cut in half, so really there's going to be 2 pieces, and you're going to screw it halfway on the inside of the square against the 40-inch piece on the front and against the 40-inch piece on the back, creating some sort of lip or shelf, which leads you to your next step. This is where you're going to screw the 6 30-inch pieces of wood evenly across that lip. You can put the screws at the top and at the bottom for extra support. Next, you're going to take those 5 posts that you cut from the 2x1x6. You're going to stand them up vertically in each corner, resting on the lip so that it will support the back panels later. So you just screw it on the bottom from the outside. I did 2 screws at the bottom of each. Now, last but not least is assembling the raised back panels. So you should have 1 piece of 40-inch left and 2 pieces of 30 inches. Where at the back, you're just gonna line it up with the top of the posts that you see sticking up, and you're just gonna screw it in each time. And again, I used 2 screws each time for extra support. Step 6, finishing touches. So this is just an optional step. It really depends what happened while you were building it. I found that when I was screwing into the wood, it would sometimes crack or chip off. So I just went around with my stain and touched up all the damaged areas. So this is what the final product looks like. You're gonna wanna add a dog pillow on top of it so it's comfy for them to sleep on. The one I used is the Snoozy Play Hard Rest Easy Gusset Floor Pillow, and it's 3 by 40 inches. It also has a removable cover so that you can wash it whenever it gets dirty. But all in all, I love the way it turned out, and I hope you guys did too. So that about sums it up. I hope you guys like the way it turned out because I know I love the way that it turned out. If I missed anything in the video, any comments or questions, you can just comment below and I'll try my best to get back to you. And if this was something you loved and you want to see more do-it-yourself videos, I'll definitely be doing more of those. So just subscribe below to see what I post. And stay tuned next week because I will be doing design trends of the month. Bye!